my dearest confidant. We talked about how I had been conditioned, and my environment has shaped me to be very receptive to everyone else's energy and their moods and all of that stuff, right? And it's a gift. It has been a wonderful gift up to this point in my life, and it will continue to be a gift because I'm going to continue to be open and able to receive and help people transmute their pain, because I know that that's part of my purpose in life. I didn't grow up that way, so that way I could be a hard-shelled individual, because I would already be a hard-shelled individual if that was the case. And so, yes, sure, I've had walls up, but I've always been receptive to things that were not necessarily meant to be receptive, but I had to learn my lessons. And so, anyways, something that just recently clicked in my mind is that, anytime, I'm not averse to conflict, right? I will go into conflict even when I know it's not going to be, and by conflict, I don't necessarily mean like an assault in a way, just like a difference of opinion, a difference of idea, a different way of doing things. And I've never been opposed to be the one to speak up and be like, hey, that's bullshit. And a lot of the times that's not received well, but that's because the other person isn't really open to that, even though they're engaging in the disagreement. They're not really open to having a resolution. They just want to disagree, right? And sometimes that's me too. Let me not try to make it seem like it's always someone else. And there's a time for, you sharing your feelings and being like, no, this is me and this is what I'm trying to tell you and this is how it made me feel. And then there's, and you're not receptive, right? Because now it's my turn. And then there's other times where you're trying to actually get to, well, why did you feel that way? Why did you want to do that? Why, whatever, for the other person, and try to get to a resolution. Let me understand you better so I can now have a compromise with you. And so, I realized that a lot of the times going into conflict, because of the way that I grew up, I expected there to be a response. I expected there to be, I don't get the last word, they do. I expected that. And subconsciously, whenever I would open up for conflict, I would expect that tension and then that comeback to be there. So like a simple case in point, I had been seeing some ads on Instagram about how to do workouts. And so I reached out to that company, that, brand, and asked them for more information. And I was very upfront with them and I said, look, I'm interested. However, I will not talk to you on the phone. And it depends on how much it costs, right? And as I was, that person responded with the price, and I was thinking, yeah, that's not going to work for me. Like, that's entirely too expensive, because I know that I can find similar information for free. And it's not that I don't want to invest that time and money into myself. It's that that's not the right amount of money. It's the time that really is the thing for me, right? Money is, I can always get more money. There's always another way to make money. So as I was writing my response, I was like, I really don't want them to become a salesman. But I kind of expected that. And then I was like, wait a minute, no, you don't expect that. The answer is no. And that's what the answer is. Like, and so I framed it that way, like, this is a complete conversation. I'm done with this. And they received it that way. I was like, I appreciate you being upfront with me about the cost. But that's not something that's within the budget that I'm willing to spend right now. And so they hearted my message. It didn't bother me again. And I was like, well, that was different. And it's because I closed my energy off to that. There is no conflict. I'm telling you no. And so that's kind of what I had been trying to do with my friend too. However, then they would say something that would kind of draw me back in, and I'd be like, I have to respond to that. And now it's, you know what? No, I don't. I don't have to respond to that. I know what I mean, and I know what I've done, and I know how I've behaved, and I know that this is the right move for me. And so I'm just going to leave it like that. And so then when I was actually done with that person's comebacks, I just simply stopped responding, and then they went away, and it was just like, okay, you just disengage. I'm disengaged. I cut my energy off from that. Boom, the wall's up, and there is no more disagreement. There is no more, like, that's it. And so the point of this video was to say that, maybe there's some places in your life where you're expecting pushback, you're expecting conflict, and so that's why you keep getting it. And if you close that energy off and you're like, nope, the answer is no, and that is what it is, then you're going to start to receive that. Wherever the area of the conflict is coming from, it's going to cease to desist. And the faster you get at seeing that for yourself and putting that energy out there, the faster you can be done with that conflict that is no longer what you want to experience. And so hopefully that's helpful for you. I know it was helpful for me. You can apply this information that you've gotten to the next time you experience something like that, if this resonated with you. And I love you, my dearest confidant.